You can hear me?
Just like fishing in the ocean, there'll always be someone new. You didn't know, but I think you saw me well. Just like my love, like a last thing. Ooh, baby, girl, don't stop for nobody. This time I keep my feet on solid ground. Now I understand myself in the time. At the sweet sound of your music, there'll always be something new. To keep the dreams journey, hey, this is a song. There'll never be an ending. Be so long, be so long.
Hi, Crystal.
Guitar playing that feel to show the beat is real.
Hey, Kate.
To be so long.
We have Crystal and we have Kate all joining us. Crystal's from North Carolina. Kate's from Orlando. So fun. Well, we're going to keep the dance party going a little bit more, Laura, while people join us. So let's just keep dancing the music for a little bit more.
To win somebody's love, you get just like fishing in the ocean, there'll always be someone new.
Cheers, baby.
Just like my love, everlasting. Oh, and the beat goes on. Still moving strong. And the beat goes on. Just like my love, everlasting. Oh, and the beat goes on. Still moving strong.
Awesome. Laurel, do you mind turning down the music a little bit so that we can still have it on when we're talking? Because it's so much fun to have music.
Okay. I think it's coming to a next song, so I'll keep it on.
Okay.
Melena here, and right now.
Here.
Commercial. Go ahead.
Okay, I think we're frozen a little bit, but that's okay. Can you guys type in and say, hey, if you can hear me? Ooh. Okay, awesome. People can hear me. Okay, so we're going to begin. Hopefully Laurel can play the music at a lower volume so we can still have it when we're talking, because really the whole point of this is to get everyone together and just like kind of just hang out, because that's one of the things I miss the most of having like online friends. Almost all my friends now are online, and I miss having just like dance parties we can like rock to and do all that stuff. So that's why I wanted to put this out there in this space, to have this fun night where we can talk about over sangria. I hope you all got your sangria recipes, where we can talk about our 6 keys to self-love and really just have a fantastic time while we're drinking. See, Mimi's drinking, Laurel's drinking. I've actually been dead sick for the last 3 days, so I am not drinking sangria with you. When I get better, I will be drinking sangria, but tonight I'm sticking to tea. And so my goal with this is to just all have a great time. And there's no pressure. We're not going to sell you anything. It's not going to be like a traditional webinar where we're going to be at the end pitching ourselves. I really just wanted you guys to get to know, I know as Born Through Fire, I have a pretty cool audience. And there are a lot of women out there who are really like kick-ass in what they do. And I just really wanted to introduce you guys to some of my really good friends that I met at the initial retreat that I talk about so much in my podcast. And the retreat that I went to was in Vermont, and I got to meet Laurel and Mimi. So if you guys could say hi. Laurel, will you say hi for a second?
Hi.
Yes, Laurel, and Mimi, could you say hi for a second? Hi. Okay. And these are dear friends of mine, and they're both amazing women who, over this past year with me, have just grown exponentially in what they're doing in the world and what they're doing for their audience, and really just living a passionate, happy life. they're doing it in completely different areas as myself, but it's really amazing to see them just grow their passions and see where it takes them. And so tonight I really wanted to introduce you guys to them and just hang out and have fun. So we're going to be talking about 6 keys to self-love, because that's just one of the things that keeps coming up in this podcast is keep talking to these amazing, thriving women, and what comes up, certain things come up over and over and over again, and you start to take notice. Like, and one of them is self-love and self-care. And so I wanted to bring us together so we can talk about self-love and self-care tonight in a fun way over sangria. So the first thing, I'll introduce Laurel to you guys. So Laurel is an amazing chef extraordinaire. She's a beautiful dancer. She lives in Florida now. She used to live in New York. And she's actually a published author. She has a cookbook, and she's writing her 2nd book. So Laurel, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and what you want to talk about tonight?
Sure. So I'm a writer, and I teach fitness classes. I teach bar fitness classes, and I'm also a dancer and a certified health coach. Basically, to give you an idea of what got me here, a couple of years ago, 2013, I had a crazy, crazy summer. The love of my life broke up with me, and I was in New York City, and that incident started off this whole chain of events.
I think we're good. We're good. We're just having a little bit of technical difficulty, so keep talking. It'll be fine.
Okay. So that summer, I sprained my foot. My credit cards got stolen. My dad passed away. I mean, just if you could just imagine, like, your whole life, like in New York City, the months leading up to my 30th birthday, and as tough as it was a life-changing summer for me, and it started me on this whole path of just looking at my life and looking at what I'm doing to make myself happy. So I don't look at it as like this tragic like sob story thing, even though there was a lot of tears that happened that summer. I look at it as a really exciting, life-changing time in my life. And to get myself out of it, I started really taking control of just loving myself and looking at, like, hey, I want to be happy. What can I do to make this happen, rather than relying on somebody else to do that for me. Right? Times we want to look at somebody else. Like,
that's such a key point there, Laurel, is like we have to be able to make ourselves happy and love ourselves first before we could ever be ready for a relationship. And it's so, like, as you saw that, it just really helped me get it, because you just, like, started living it. It was awesome to see. Yeah, totally. And I didn't get it until I went through it, and I think it took for me to get to that place of, like, okay, there's nothing left. I felt like everything had been ripped away, so I'm like, I don't want to feel this way. I want to feel better. So I just started really placing all my priorities and taking care of myself, and it's been an awesome journey since then. I'm still working on it. I'll always keep working on it, but it's exciting. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about the book that you're doing?
Yeah, so on that journey of kind of starting to take care of myself better, I was keeping gratitude lists. That's a big, big important thing to me these days. It helped me really pull myself out of my bad summer. And while I was making those lists, I realized that there was a huge connection between the things that scare me and things that make me joyful. It's really interesting because you wouldn't normally think of being scared of things being happy, but I was able to make that connection. So I'm on this journey now. I'm writing a new book about doing the things that scare you on purpose. It's going to be called Follow Your Fear. Haven't told that many people that, so that's a big exclusive here.
Ooh.
Yeah, exclusive to the webinar people. My book is called Follow Your Fear, and it's all about purpose. So I actually made a list. My book is a memoir talking about these 30 things that I've done that scare you, or that scare me, really, and my experience doing those things. So I wanted to present to us on this call, one of the keys to self-love, in my opinion, is to start doing the things that scare you, because if you were to make a list right now, like maybe we can do that in the chat, we can all share a couple things that scare us. Yeah,
So
Kaylee,
what scares the shit out of you?
Because just start thinking about it for a second. Like, what scares you? It might be something physical, right? Like, it might be I'm scared to go skydiving. I'm scared to go hang gliding. It might be something emotional. One of my things was
Everyone has to take shots.
I'm scared. Told him what was up. I'm scared to take shots, so there's that. So yeah, let's maybe just share some things on the chat, like things that scare you, because I've started to kind of figure out on this journey, when something scares you, there's a reason for it, right? Like, why are you so scared? Typically it's because you care. You care about that thing, or you care about that person or that interaction. You're not really sure what's going to happen, but there's a reason why it drums up all this stuff with you. So, right, okay, awesome, Bo. So marriage, boudoir photo shoots, awesome, yes. And so it's interesting, too, just even writing it down or typing it out, like you get this emotional reaction in yourself, like, whoa, what if I was to do that happen? Beautiful, taking another risk on love. So I just challenge you as a way to kind of show yourself some love, like make a list tonight, sometime this week, 5, maybe 10 things that scare you, and just look at that list and say, hey, what are some things I can really actually do here? How can I kind of play with this a little bit? And I can just tell you from my experience on this journey, I'm still on the journey. I'm almost all the way through all of my 30 things, and I could start crying with how much joy and excitement has come out of this. I'm doing things I never thought I would do, and yes, it's scary. That's what fear is, right? It's a lot of fear and scared feelings, but on the other side, a lot of times your passion. So follow your fear. Do it. I'm going to make t-shirts. I'm going to start selling t-shirts. Like, it's on. That's my big message. My big message these days is follow your fear. I can't wait to finish the book and share with you. It's exciting. So,
could you give us a sneak peek, Laurel, and share like one of the things that scared you the most that you tackled during this book?
Yeah. Okay. So one of the big things I did was I went on vacation by myself.
Ooh.
So that was one of the first things I did. Last summer I went to Jamaica by myself. And I went to like a romantic resort by myself.
Mai Tais for two. Yes, please.
Really showed up, and there's like couples just got married, families together, people at dinner looking over at me like, why is she by herself at the table? Like, I just really, really, really wanted to spend some time with myself, and I don't know, I just had this urge. I wanted to travel, and there wasn't anybody that made sense to go with at the time, and I was starting to follow this path of following my fears, so I just did it, and it was scary as all hell. It was terrifying to eat dinner by myself. It was terrifying to go to the pool by myself and order pina coladas by myself, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Like, I I cried. I got through some of the stuff I had just went through. I was able to just be in silence and peace. Oh my God, the hours I spent just laying on a beach chair with my sunglasses and my iPod. And it was okay. I was more than fine. And I never thought I would have been able to do something like that. And so now I've got this great experience behind me, and I'm going to tell much more about it in the book, lots of details, and talk about some of the funny little things that happened on the trip itself. So,
wow, that sounds awesome.
I'm going to do it again. I'm going on more vacations.
You do it again?
Yeah.
That's actually awesome. I'm going on a retreat to Peru. I think I've posted that like a lot, so everyone knows this. But at the end of it, I was on this plane and I met, totally not related. I met this really cute guy who was he was a bird explorer, so he just studied bird biology, and so he had traveled extensively in Peru. And he recommended going to Lake Titicaca. So after I do the part of the retreat, I'm actually going to take a week by myself and do a vacation by myself for the first time. Maybe not for a full week, but a couple days. And I think that will be like the first time that I've ever actually done that, you know. And I'm really excited to follow in your footsteps, Laurel, and doing that.
Do it, yeah. And I'm like, I am so here to be that person for anyone. Like that little push or someone to be like, yeah, do it. Like if you have something that's in the back of your mind, like, oh, I don't know if I should, feel free. If I don't know you and you're on this call, feel free to just hit me up. We'll share our social network stuff at the end.
Yeah.
I would love to be that person for you because there was plenty of people who, you know, helped give me courage or told me not to do things that made me want to do it even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Laura, I think do we want to let's do one from everyone, and then if we have time, we'll go back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sounds good.
We'll go to Mimi now. So Mimi, could you? Okay, so I want to introduce Mimi a little bit to everyone. So Mimi is a dear sister of mine. We met again at the retreat. And she just really inspired me because she's so soulful and so fierce in how she wants to live her life and how she lives her everyday life. And I just absolutely love that about her. She has this apparel line. It's called Fierce Fit Feminine, which I wear like freaking all the time. It's kind of embarrassing how much I actually wear her clothes. They're so comfortable. In fact, I'll be on like a Skype call with like people that I that like my life coach or people that I know that know Mimi, and we'll find out like we're all wearing her shirts at the same time. It's kind of embarrassing. I should have a more extensive wardrobe than just Mimi shirts, but I don't.
I'll put you some more.
But anyway, so I just absolutely love her, and she's gone through quite the journey in the last 2 years, very similar to myself, where so much of her life has changed revolutionarily. And so Mimi, could you share some of like one of your main keys to self-love that you found over this past 2 years?
Yeah, for me, one of the biggest thing over the last 2 years has been embracing and learning and living intuitive eating. I'm a health coach, and I went to the same nutrition school that Laurel did, and our mutual coach actually is the one who introduced it to me. And I had been living a life of really just living in body jail, basically, dieting and over-exercising and every eating disorder under the sun. I had been dealing with it, and I kind of had gotten to a point where I didn't think that there was a way out. And of course, when you reach that breaking point, for some reason, the universe always sends you that thing that you need. to break through. And so I was introduced to my coach, and she taught me intuitive eating, and it's what I've been doing for the last 2 years now, and it's been a progress, but it's been really beautiful because it's not only helped me with my relationship with food and my body, but also the other areas of my life of living intuitively and being able to step out with my business in a bigger way, and kind of similar to what Laura was talking about, facing my fears and just feeling that fear and learning to do it anyway. And with intuitive eating, it's really taught me to have awareness around what it is that I'm eating and why I'm eating it. That's been a big key in helping me kind of break through. Do you want me to go into like some of the steps of intuitive eating, or?
Well, I guess I'm just more curious about, no, because I'm more curious about how you actually started down the path, because between the fact of, like, you mentioned you understanding, like, intuitive eating and you hating your body, there must have been a time where you had to, like, take a leap and actually trust, and I think that's the scariest part, like, oh my God, what if my body wants French fries? What if I want to just eat pizza all the time? I'm going to gain like 200 pounds. Like, I'm going to be so fat. Like, how did you get past that and actually begin the intuitive eating?
Oh God, okay. Well, all of my food issues started, I want to say, in like adolescence, because I was so shy and uncomfortable and introverted, and I didn't know how to handle my feelings. But it really kicked into gear when I was about 17 and my first boyfriend broke up with me. And I was so in love, and I was so sure that if I lost weight, then he would come back and want me back. And I think most women can relate to feeling that at some point. So I dealt with that for about a decade and really struggled. And once I met my coach, taking that leap, it was terrifying. I didn't think that I would be able to eat what my body wanted and not just gain 500 pounds. I've been so used to restricting myself and, you know, counting calories and really being so rigid. The idea of letting go scared the crap out of me. I'm not one of those people that lets go easily, or in the past I haven't been.
Ooh, I love that language correction, Mimi.
I know someone else is listening too. So yeah, it wasn't like I just, for me, it wasn't like I just took this leap and was like, okay, intuitive eating, 100%, here I am. It was really like peeling back the layers of an onion and putting my faith in my coach, who I'd seen the outcome of her journey. She had done it. Okay, well, if she's done it, maybe I can do it too. And I think that was probably the biggest influence, was really having that person that I could look at and kind of as like a beacon of hope. Like, okay, if I can do it, I've got a chance, I can do this. But there were ups and downs, and you know, it's a process, and that's the best way I can explain it, is that it's not like a light switch that you just flip on and one day you're just eating intuitively and listening to what your body wants. Like, there's a lot of fear that goes into it, and overcoming that fear and allowing yourself to feel it and moving through it, and learning from they're not mistakes, but
your journey,
for lack of a better word, learning it and you know, taking on, you know, relearning how to trust your body, that it knows what it needs and it knows when it needs it. And if you can quiet your mind and just tune into that, that's when you really start to make some progress. That's when I started to make progress, was when I pushed away all of the old diet rules and that mentality and everything, like, don't eat after 7 p.m. and don't, like, eat carbs, or, you know, whatever. when I dropped all those rules and just started listening to what my body wanted, I started to understand what trusting my body meant, because I didn't balloon up. I didn't gain 500 pounds. I pretty much just stayed the same, but without that like rigid mindset. So it was quite freeing.
Yeah, and I think that's so key, Mimi, because it's all about following our heart and trusting our own bodies to tell us the way. I mean, it's in everything we do. It's not just in intuitive eating, and that's why what you do and what Laurel does relates to so many aspects of everyone's life, and everyone can so relate, because it isn't just about intuitive eating, and it isn't just about facing our fears. It's really, once we learn to listen to ourselves, everything changes, because like our heart really does not steer us wrong. And I know that, like I talk about this all the time with my clients, is that, you know, when we really quiet the voice in our heads and we listen to our hearts, there is no right or wrong with what we do. It's just our destiny, because we're finally actually listening to what our heart says. And I mean, I think that all of us, because we started at that same retreat, we've kind of been accelerated into that type of lifestyle of where we actually follow our hearts in everything we do, and it accelerates everything in our life, and it makes us not content with things that are no longer just okay or just acceptable. We can no longer just be okay with that's okay, that's fine, or that, well, it's a good job, but it's not something I absolutely love, or even relationships, like this relationship no longer serves me, or you know, even just how I relate to the world and how much joy I experience every day. If I'm not experiencing enough joy, I really only have myself to blame. I cannot blame it on anyone else. I'm the one that has to follow my heart. And when I want to dance and have a dance party, that's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a dance party, because if I am grumpy at the end of the day, I only have myself to blame because I didn't follow my heart. And so I just think that what we're all saying is part of the same core, is that it's following our hearts. And everyone, like, I've been listening to everyone's comments, and you know, someone might not relate to having a problem with intuitive eating or eating right or eating disorders. Well, I can so relate to that, Mimi. People, like, I don't relate as easily to Laurel's having to face her fears because of my career as a pilot. So that's not something that I relate to. What I can so relate to is her journey for seeking more and following her heart. I mean, that is just a universal thing we can all learn from. And so I just think that we need to just further communities of women that talk about this stuff, because no one talks about this stuff. Everyone just says, like, oh, you know, we can get skinny, or you know, like, do this will make you happy, or have this lifestyle, or this will get you this boyfriend, or whatever it is. And that's just missing the whole point. Like, we need to all get together as women and speak up about these things, because it's hard. It's hard to follow our hearts.
Having that support, like ever since the retreat, and having you guys around and having our soul tribe, that has made such a huge difference in, you know, my ability to face my fears and move my business in a bigger way, you know, and start thinking outside the box, and having you guys to kind of rally behind me. You know, having that community of women is everything.
Yeah, it's so true, and that's what I've been trying to create with Born Through Fire. And I know that's what you create, Laurel, with your cookbook and your Facing Your Fear book, and Mimi, I know that's what you create with your clients. But it's just so important to understand that we can just show up at any time for another woman. Like, we don't have to wait for permission to be in a special kind of group to provide support. There's so many people that are reaching out on Facebook or social media, or even, you know, friends that confide in you that are searching for help, and you can just show up. You can just show up as your full self and not just give her that like little part of you that just says, oh, I'm sorry what you're going through, and be kind of condescending and helpful in the same way, you know, or you can actually fully show up and say, I hear you, I see you, and I empathize with what you're going through.
And being willing to go there with her, hold her hand as she goes through the dark stuff. Because that empathy is so important.
Yeah. Laurel, how have you seen, like, so one of the things I've noticed is that as I've fully shown up in other relationships and other parts of my life, things have completely unexpectedly just gotten so much better. I mean, people who knew me from way before, it's just like, who haven't, like, you want to get this like ego in your mind that says, oh, because I've been through all this heartache, like I can do this better than others, or I am better equipped than other people because I've been doing all this soul work. That's not that's just a bunch of bullshit, really. And like, you just need to show up, and when I show up, people just astound me with their depths. Have you seen that too, Laurel?
Yeah, and when you're coming from a place of just looking for relationships where people show up, right? Like that's what you're looking for. That's kind of what attracts to you and what you attract. So when a relationship comes up in your consciousness that's not that, I just find that it like moves to the side a lot quicker than it used to. At least that's what I'm finding out. Like they'll still come up. It's not that like every relationship, friends, date, whatever, family member is deep and amazing, because that's certainly not the case. It's just that like when that's kind of what you want and what you're looking for, the things that don't fit into that fade away quicker. So to me, it's almost like kind of having like a laser focus. This is what I want to be involved in, and if it's not that, like it just kind of floats away quicker.
And I think that one of the things I'd like to do is go through and ask everyone on the call, like, what kind of self-love are you working on right now? Like, what area of your life you feel like that darkness, that you're not fully embracing yourself? Is there some part of you that you feel like isn't good enough, or you're not accepting of fully, that could use a little more self-love? What about you, Laurel? Is there any area that comes to mind?
Yeah, with me it's always, I shouldn't say always, currently. It's
up until now.
Yeah, there you go. It's career stuff. I am a freelance writer, and I'm a fitness, and there's this little scared part of me still that likes to always have this dialogue about how like I'm not good enough to really fully embody that writer that's successful, that person that lives this lifestyle outside of working an office job that I want. So it pops back up, and I have to constantly kind of not give my attention to it, right? Give my attention to living the life that I want and already have. It's really a past life. It's not even current anymore. So for me, that's what it is. It's career stuff and having confidence in the freelancer free Laurel. And
Laurel, how do you shine light? Like, how do you provide self-love to that on your own?
Take pleasures in the things that I have because of living that new life. For instance, I take naps, and I take pleasures in those things. And when I'm doing the things that I want to be doing that are part of this freelance life, like I'm doing restaurant reviews, for instance, it's so much more interesting to me than writing software manuals, which is what I used to do. So
I can't even see you writing software manual.
isn't
So
that funny? Like, it's the silliest thing you've ever heard. What do I know about software? Nothing. And I did it for 10 years. 10 years.
10 years? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I try to like have little celebrations and like moments of just really loving when I'm like in my zone. Like if I'm at a place and I'm like, wow, I'm working right now and I'm eating this amazing food, and talking to the chef, or I'm writing up an article about how something I went through, and or writing in my book, right? Like writing my journeys that I've been on for following my fears. So I'm just trying to like be more present and have celebrations when I'm having those moments, so that when that fear comes up, I can kind of remember, like, look how much fun I was having a couple hours ago, and then pull myself back out of that quicker than stay in it for like a couple weeks or months or a year or however long.
how about you, Mimi? What area of your life right now could use a little more self-love?
Oh gosh. I mean, I'm always a work in progress, but I feel like the career thing for me is also a big one. I've got this, uh, mentality. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I can pull myself out of it. But the thought comes across, who am I to help other women? Who am I to put myself out there in a big way? Who am I to, run a 6 or 7 figure business, and do something that she really loves to do? I think that's where I really I'm still working on those thoughts, those stories that I've told myself for a long time, and that simply aren't true. But again, it's an unlearning and a relearning of what the truth is.
I guess if I have to answer that question, first of all, I can so relate to Laurel needing more rest. I think that's why my body put me on my ass these last 3 days. It's like all I did was sleep. But I feel like I need a little more self-care because in the area of like my business, in being like I have such big dreams and I see it getting so big so quickly, and so I have to be okay with slow and steady progress sometimes. That it's it's okay to just make incremental steps, because when I look back in the past year, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe everything. I mean, my podcast is only like 4 months old. It's pretty insane how when you look at it that way, but it just doesn't feel like it's moving along fast enough as I would have liked. And I think so many people can relate. Like now that you have the mental, like the shift in your mind, you just want everything to accelerate really quickly and catch up. But sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it's a little slower, and you have to be okay with that. So I think that's where I have very high expectations for myself, I guess I could say. And so I think I can shine a little more self-love and celebrate my wins, even the small ones. And so I can honor myself that way. Yeah.
Celebrating the wins is so important, and I think it's often overlooked. At least for me, it is. I can easily be like, oh, that's not that big of a deal, when really I need to take a beat and say, no, you know what, that is a big deal. I did that, and that's really great, and that gives just more confidence, to go out there and do something else that's great, and it attracts more greatness to you when you actually take the time to appreciate it.
Yeah, and I just want to, because there's some chat about in here about saying, sorry, there's one, I just lost my train of thought, but about saying I'm sorry. Yeah, so I completely agree with everyone that like saying sorry is a very nasty habit. In fact, I've actually eliminated it completely from my vocabulary. And so that now if I'm going to say sorry, I actually am fully showing up and apologizing to someone. I only use it in a situation that I'm actually apologizing for something that I've done to hurt their heart and soul. Otherwise, I don't use it anymore. So there's so many other words you can use rather than I'm sorry, like excuse me. Like when you run into someone, you could say excuse me, not I'm sorry. And so like just watch yourself. Don't ever say it unless it's intentional in a very deep conversation that you're apologizing for someone. Otherwise, find other language to say it. And that's shifted a lot for me. And be strong about that, because you don't need to apologize for anything. You run into someone, it's just as much that guy's fault as it is yours. So say, excuse me. And that's more appropriate.
That's so good. I completely agree with you, and that's something that I need to work on too. That's great.
Yeah, and I know Alicia can feel me about the business, because I know she's also started a podcast, and she's doing. I think that those of us, I think pretty much everyone that I attract into my life, and everyone you guys attract, have such big purpose-driven dreams. You know, we really want to make a difference in the world. It's not like we're just out there for the money. We really want to make impact in this world. And so it gets frustrating when we see like we haven't been influencing as many people as we would have liked to at this point. So I just, Alicia, I can so relate to what you're doing, and your business, it will catch up to your dreams. It's just sometimes your dreams are so big, it takes a little while, and that's okay. And I know we're all like that. Oh, and I'll have to watch Crystal's YouTube video that she posted as well. Does anyone else have anything else like they feel a little bit like they're not shining enough self-care on, or another area that we haven't actually talked about yet? Because, sleep is so important, and Laurel brought that up, and Bo brought up melatonin for sleep, which is also really important. Is there anything else that we're missing? Anyone wants to speak up on?
I could think of something just off the cuff.
Yeah.
To say, because I'm just looking at myself in the webinar here with my short hair. I think so many times there's like ways that we feel comfortable, like, right, in the things that you wear, the way that you look, and you can always show yourself a little bit more love and just being how you want to be, like dressing the way you want to dress. And it's not to say that it's easy, because it's not. We're all fighting so many expectations, right, for how women are supposed to be in the world, and the way you have to dress for work, and the way you have to dress for your exercise, the way you're supposed to dress for your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your husband. And I just wanted to bring that up as a way to show yourself some love. Like, maybe it's just a question you ask yourself, like, am I really showing myself love in how I'm presenting myself to myself, not even to anyone else, right? Like, you look in the mirror and you're like, what do I want to see myself look like? And I just brought it up because of my short hair, because I wanted to cut my hair off, and I had just this little inkling to do it. It scared the shit out of me, and it's one of the things I wrote about in my book. And there was all this stuff that came up with my own stuff and other people, like, ooh, how short are you going to cut it? Like, almost kind of like, ooh, you're about to give up on your like womanhood or sexyhood or whatever it is. And I just came to find out through the process, it just made me so happy once it was said and done, because it was what I wanted to do. And it's like how I wanted to feel. I wanted the ease of it. I wanted the ballsiness of it. I wanted all that for myself. And when I did it, it was more gratifying for me than for anyone else. And once I kind of did it and showed my own self that love of like just doing it, everyone else got on board. It's surprising sometimes how people get on board with your life and what you're doing when you start showing yourself the love. Because it's like, once you get confident with, yeah, that's right, I'm taking a nap, or yeah, that's right, I'm getting the job I want to get, or yeah, I'm taking that dance class I want to take, or whatever it is you want to do. Oh, yeah, that's right, I'm cutting my hair, or I'm wearing sweatpants right now if I feel like it. Like, the more you kind of just do that because you want to, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Not that you need them to jump on board, but they will.
That's so true, Laurel. Oh, sorry, what did you say,
Yeah.
Mimi? Can you say that again?
I was saying it's being unapologetic for your choices and your desires, and I think she's right. Like, people will somehow like magically kind of either jump on board or they fall away. And I think that's beautiful because you're the one that's living your life. You're in your body 24/7. So why not, drop the oughts and shoulds and just do what really lights you up, what really makes you feel happy, or what scares the shit out of you.
I love how I'm making everyone swear. I apologize. That for people that are offended, it's really my influence on everyone. These are really nice girls who don't swear. So, I work with Bo too much, who swears all the time. Just kidding, Bo. I want to say also, it's allowing yourself the self-love to be fully who you need to be in that moment. Like, as I would, like Mimi had just said, like the shoulds. Like, okay, I'm putting on a webinar for people. I probably should have my hair done. I probably should have makeup on. Like, I probably shouldn't just be in a t-shirt. But then I got sick, and my body didn't want to get up and do makeup or do my hair. And it's like, you know what? The people that are actually here for me and care about me could care less if I have makeup on at this time, right? I mean, you really, like, the people that really are gonna matter don't care. And so while I am not against putting on makeup because I enjoy that and I enjoy being the professional businesswoman at sometimes, like, this will probably be on YouTube forever because this is kick-ass and I love our conversations, and you know what, this is how I look today. And so people are either going to accept me or it's going to trigger something in them that makes them, upset about themselves and hence react to what I'm doing, So it really isn't anything about you. It's really just what you trigger in others too. So it has more to do about what they're at, where they're dealing with, than it has anything to do with yourself. So just love yourself at all. Like, I love Tara Lee, and I always think of her when I hear, like, make it a hell yes. Like, do you really want to do this? Hell yes, I want to show up for a webinar with no makeup and my hair not done. Hell yes, sorry. And so that's it. That's how you should live your life. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Off my soapbox. Sorry. Well, is there any, do you guys want to close with, like, a parting word? I usually close my my podcast with, like, a parting word of advice. Do you guys want to close with a parting word of advice about self-love and then how everyone can reach you?
Sure. I'll go. Yeah, so I just challenge everybody to write a list of the things you're scared of, and look at that list and just wonder why you're scared of those things. Do they matter to you? What is it you're so scared of? What would happen if you did it? Is it okay if you don't know what's going to happen? So that's my big key to self-love. My other one is to go on dates with yourself. So go to the movies by yourself, make dinner for you, take yourself out. If you need to lie and make an excuse to someone else, say you're going to the doctor and you go take yourself out anyways, do it. Like I said, I'll be your naughty little person on your shoulder to tell you it's okay. You need me to. And I would love to connect. So I'm Laurel Moll, M-O-L-L. And I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. Both of those handles are Laurel Moll, Laurelmoll. And yeah, I'm writing a book, so I would just love to connect with you if you're interested in it and you want to keep updated. Let's follow each other on social networks, and I'd love to connect. I'll follow you back and see what you're up to as well. So that's it.
Thank you, Laurel. And Mimi, what is your parting words of advice, and how can we reach you?
My parting advice, I think, is probably just that there's nothing to fix. If you feel like there's something that you need to fix or change about yourself, ask yourself if that's really true, because there's nothing to fix. You are perfect just the way you are. And to let go of those oughts and shoulds and ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if I do let go of the oughts and shoulds and expectations of other people or the judgments of other people, and just start living my truth. What's the worst that can happen if I do that? And you can find me at mimicoker.com. I'm also on Instagram, and it's Mimi_Coker. And then I'm on Facebook as well. I don't do Twitter that much.
Awesome. And I am Kaylee McKenna, so you can find me at bornthroughfire.com and on Facebook, Born Through Fire Podcast. So thank you everyone for showing up today. I've had a blast, so I really hope you've had a good time in Girls Night In, and I hope to do more of this in the future because this was fun. So Laurel, would you mind playing some music as we go so we can all log off and say goodbye to everybody? Sure. Thank you so much for being here, and it was really such an honor to have you guys. And we'll post. You'll get the replay if you want it, and if you want to share it with your people or whatever. So, so thanks. I love my name too, actually. I love your name.
Okay, music's coming. Sorry.
Oh, Melissa wants to know, Mimi, what's the name of your apparel line?
Yes, Mimi. Awesome.
She'll post it here. So it's Fierce Fit Feminine.
Yes. And it's on my website.
So it's on mimicoker.com.
Yeah, under apparel, you can find, I've got sweatshirts and long-sleeve tees and all kinds of good comfy stuff, but it's fierce.fit.feminine. That's the name of the apparel.
It is really comfortable.
Yeah, fabrics are super comfortable. It's like nice, super soft cotton.
Yeah. Okay, well, wonderful, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.
Thank you. Music's coming.